Welcome to the BTR podcast. That's the Bartender Rant podcast from the Pool Room Studios at the Bonneview Mansion. My name is Steve Haley. I'm here with my beautiful feather-haired co-host, Michael Windsor.
I do need a haircut.
I mean, it is brutal, dude. You look like you look like Justin Bieber if he had gone through COVID when he was like 15, wow. You know, and never couldn't get to a haircut at that time. But
thanks.
How you been, buddy?
Good.
God, it's been a fucking gap in time since we did one of these, huh?
Yep, really has. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it.
Who was the last one? Was it my brother?
It was. Yeah.
That was a fucking blast.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Anything new?
Yeah. So I found out that I'm from the plains, apparently.
Well, you're a fucking moron. I mean, I had to get you up to speed on. All right, so just to let you guys in, and for anybody out there that may be as ignorant as Mike once was, okay, I will try to be as nice as I can to enlighten you. You live on the East Coast if you are east of the Appalachians. Appalachians?
Yeah, you're gonna sit here and give me shit. You
Appalachians,
don't even know how to pronounce the fucking mountain range.
Anyway, if you're east of the Appalachian mountain range, you're on the East Coast. If you're west of that, you're technically in the Midwest. Technically.
But
if you're west of the Mississippi, you're in the plains. This motherfucker from Kansas has been telling people his whole life he's from the Midwest when he's clearly west of the Mississippi. It's just a simple, look, it's a dollars and cents kind of thing. I don't want to get nitpicky with it, but these are just absolute geographical facts. There's nothing you can do about it.
When have you ever heard anyone say, I'm from the plains? Like, it makes me think of somebody living in a sod house, you know, getting ready to be invaded by Native Americans or something.
Your culinary delight where you're from is called a loaded spud. That sounds like something people from the plains would eat, or like, you know, people from the Shire.
You know,
I mean,
even Tech 9 has Midwest choppers. It's not the fucking plains choppers, all right? So I'm gonna keep saying fucking Midwest. You can correct me. I don't give a shit.
Well, anyway, speaking of plains, Mike and I are probably gonna make a little trip out to Kansas. We're gonna be taking the truck out there, and then fly. I'm gonna be flying back, so we'll have to get you guys some updates on that. It's gonna be a hell of a ride. Anyway, let's get into it. We have an amazing guest today. We got Tony Castino joining us. Tony has worked at a couple different bars. I met him at Silver Spring Mining Company. Ran into him there, but he's also worked at All American Steakhouse, a few other joints he's going to tell us all about. And Tony has one of our favorite cocktails tonight. What's Tony making for us, Mike?
My Tais.
That's right. That's right. The sweet, sweet, delicious rum. So without further ado, let's get into it. We have here with us tonight Tony Castino. Tony, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for joining us. Mike and I are really excited to get into this. We've been doing, unfortunately, but fortunately, a lot of gin cocktails up until this point. So I'm pretty excited to mix it up.
Switch it up a bit.
Get a little sugar in my system, a little diabetes, you know? And I don't drink coconut rum often, but when I do, it's got to be in a Mai Tai.
Oh, that's the only way to do it.
That's right. Now, why did you pick the Mai Tai in particular?
That's my go-to drink.
Okay.
Typically, people are like, "What do you recommend to get to drink?" And I'm like, "I don't know you. I don't know what you like, so I go with Mai Tai."
Now, do you recommend it because part of you knows it can't be fucked up, that they're gonna like it either way, or does part of you recommend it because you know you can upcharge them some couple different types of rum?
It's because I know it's delicious, and it hasn't steered me wrong so far.
You gotta love those, any item at a restaurant, food or drink, that you can recommend with a guarantee, and you don't have to worry about it, right? You can say, okay, the Maryland crab soup here is good. They order it. You don't have to worry about it. You move on with your night. It doesn't have to ever be a hassle for you. That's always good to have that go-to locked and loaded.
Now, I do have a question. When you serve it, do you serve it with the little umbrellas?
No, we don't have umbrellas. We're not fancy like that, so we just put like an orange on it just because it's really like... It just is like pleasing to the eyes.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that looks nice. It doesn't make sense with it, but it's nice.
Neither does an umbrella, honestly.
No, but it would be really fancy.
Well, great. Let's get right into it. So, as we always say on the podcast, this is not just a listen along.
Don't just listen along. Drink along.
Right. All right, I fucked that up. Let's give it another try. I thought I was teaming you up there. So, the motto. Tony, because this is your first time, and we're obviously professionals at this. We're fucking killing it.
You came up with the phrase.
Right. Listen, I'm pretty sure I have like post-COVID brain from being positive 8 months ago. So, I'm still a little foggy. It's not quite firing on all synapses. Maybe my hat's too tight. I don't know. What we say is don't just listen along, drink along. So, I'm going to read out the ingredients to our wonderful listeners out there. And would you like to just hop up and start making us some wonderful cocktails?
Let's fucking do it.
All right, so
Do it.
Tony's starting to assemble some of our parts here. Classic Mai Tai is 1.5 fluid ounces of spiced rum. We're going to be using Captain Morgan tonight, but you can always up that to a higher end if you don't want the hangover.
This feels like 1.5.
We have we have about a, and that's the other thing. Tony makes a good point there. Make it how you want, people. I'm just giving you, listen, I'm just arming you with ammunition.
Yeah, you just lost our Captain Morgan sponsorship. So
Hey, look,
thanks a lot.
hey, Tony's asking them to pour more. I think Captain Morgan's going to be happy that the bottles are going fast. You know what I'm saying? So then you're going to do about a half ounce to maybe like 3/4 of an ounce of coconut rum. Everybody knows your classic coconut. That's going to be your Malibu. Can't go wrong there.
Which you can only order if it's mixed into some other alcohol.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, if you just order Malibu, I mean, I'm gonna card that person every single
I
time.
used to date a girl that would order Malibu and Diet Coke, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's the weirdest combination. And
I was going to say,
bad.
that is rough. There is one exception to that rule, though, Michael.
What's that?
My grandma Bama, my father's mother, loved to drink Malibu on the rocks and
Yeah.
nothing else, and she's a fucking saint, and
You
I
know
will
what?
not have any blasphemy against her
She
name.
came from a
It's
different
delicious.
time. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
So then you're going to add to that a teaspoon or tablespoon of grenadine syrup, just to give that a little cherry flavor. You can also do some fresh muddled maraschinos, which is always nice. Again, with a lot of these recipes, as Mike and I have explained to you, you can class it up a bit. You're going to do 3 fluid ounces of pineapple juice, 2 fluid ounces of orange juice, and shake that all up, and then just enjoy it. Well, again, so a couple weeks ago, Tony, we had Mike make us his classic martini, and we were really getting into the shaken versus stirred situation. I am all about people making their cocktails as they please. You
Don't
know,
shake it. It'll be good.
that's fine. That's
yeah.
fine.
I like how it feels to shake it, but I don't feel it's necessary with this drink. This one's just perfect the way it is.
I love it. I love it. Some purists actually would say with the Mai Tai that you're supposed to do the floater of like the spiced or syrupy rum. So it kind of has that two-tone color. So in that case, you're not going to be shaking all the parts together. You would just do the juices and the coconut rum and then layer in that spiced rum on top. But I'm pretty excited about this. We have our golden goblets tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some nice.
Man, I thought they were silver. I'm colorblind.
So am I. You actually almost convinced me that I was wrong there for a
Wait,
second. I
am
was
I?
like, fuck.
Oh shit. Okay, I see what you mean. Oh, that's not even the right lid. That's embarrassing.
Do you know how I know that they're gold? Because it said it on the package
okay.
that I bought them in.
That's sometimes how I figure things out too. I'm like, oh, at least it says it. That's good because I don't fucking know.
I got that during a white elephant exchange where I found a Tito's mule like starter pack with a bunch of goblets and a bottle of Tito's, and I strategically gave it to steal it right back so that I could, I could benefit from my own gift.
So then they're not even golden; they're copper.
Fuck you.
But yeah, we got the pineapple garnishes. That's a nice touch.
I felt like we needed some fresh fruit, and partially that's because last night the boys and I polished off a bottle of Rumplemans here.
I was not involved with that.
On a Wednesday. I think one of these weeks we're gonna have an all Rumplemans podcast
Wow.
where we just drink it
That's dangerous.
straight
That's
down the
good, though.
hatch. All right, I will pass these down. We got the first one coming
you.
out. There you are, Mikey. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Of course.
Boys, cheers to prosperity.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy.
Why does it hurt us?
Oh my. Oh my. That is great.
I feel like I'm on a beach.
I was just going to say, all of a sudden, I feel like the rushing sound of water, like I'm holding a conch shell to my ear. I feel like I'm transported. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Well done. Well, let's get right into it, man. So, now that we have our drinks in hand, we got a little alcohol flowing, a little liquid courage, I want to jump right into kind of like the overview of your service industry career. And, this is kind of like your DrinkedIn, right? It's your LinkedIn profile for bartending. So give us an idea, how did you get into the service industry? What's kind of the extent of your service? And then maybe like, where do you work right now?
Okay. One day I was out for my sister's birthday. Actually, I'm pretty sure I remember the year. It was like 2007 or something. No, it was 2015. No, 5. Jeez. Sorry, I really fucked that
I'm
up.
trying to think. I'm trying to think who was my like spirit boner at the time. I think it was Rihanna. Umbrella was my ringtone on my cell phone, and I'm telling you, every time she went to the A, I just like my pants got tighter.
Oh, God.
It was amazing.
But I went out to eat with my sister and father, and we went to Friendly's for her birthday, and I had just quit working at McDonald's because I was trying to pay for driver's ed, and then they wanted me to sweep the parking lot one day, and so I just left. And I'm like, well, I do need some type of income, so we're out to eat, and I just asked the manager, "Are you guys hiring?" And she was like, "Yeah, what are you interested in?" I had no idea.
Not sweeping.
Yeah, I don't want
I'm
to
not sweeping the parking lot.
McDonald's parking lots,
Yeah,
which
like,
I
get
didn't
that shit outta
think
here.
were swept by ever, really, actually, or anyone.
That's because anyone who's asked usually just leaves. So it just doesn't get
That's the
done.
classic McDonald's quitting story. Hey, can you sweep the parking lot? It hasn't been done in 30 years. For some reason, every time we ask somebody to do it, they disappear. We never see them again. So you're at this restaurant. What restaurant was it? Do you remember?
Friendly's.
Oh, shit. The one in Bel Air?
The one on Bel Air Road in Perry Hall.
Oh, in Perry Hall. Okay.
Yeah.
We used to go there after all of our, like, big, school concerts and,
Oh my
like...
God, those were the worst.
Oh, my God.
It
was
was like Perry Hall's fucking coming again. God damn it.
37 kids in their band uniforms walk in all at once, and you're just
Oh,
like,
we love
tonight's the night I kill somebody.
Or myself. Whichever fucking come first. So like I just asked the manager, and she was like, "What are you interested in?" And I was like, I didn't even realize I was interested in working there until I just happened to ask. And I was just like, I guess serving. Honestly, I didn't even know you tipped. I didn't know that was a thing, because I'm a 15-year-old kid.
You think you're going to make an hourly wage?
I had no idea. I just was like, I'm good with people, so I'll do that. And then, you would make like $50 on a good night, and it was just like, yeah, this is great. You don't have bills, so fuck it. So
We were talking about first industry jobs. So we when we kicked off this pod, we had Mike as our first guest to kind of just ease people into like who Mike and I are and stuff like that. And I was telling him my first ever restaurant job, I was making $5.25 an hour washing dishes in the back of my buddy's dad's restaurant. I was 13 years old, and I thought I was a fucking millionaire. I thought I was the king of the world. I'm like, you're telling me you're going to pay me $110 a week to wash dishes? This is fucking amazing. I'm going to buy a PSP. Anyway, sorry. I keep
no, you're good. You're good. Where was I? Okay, so I just ended up. That's how it all started. I actually met my son's mother at that restaurant.
She working there too?
She was at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a really great person. I'm just kidding. No, she's not. And so that's like how I got into it, and here we are, 15 years later.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, to some extent, still doing it, but it's
Hey man,
you gotta move at your own pace. So.
once it gets its hooks in you, I mean, Mike and I know it never. I don't think you're ever quite out. Like it's kind of like somebody who's gone to war, and then what they experience for the rest of their life is PTSD, like night flashes
You're
and
gonna
shit.
compare bartending to serving.
Yeah, it's
You know
the
what's
same thing.
You know what's funny? There's 3 types of people that are listening to this right now, okay? The first is a bartender or server who's like, that's right, man, I was in the trenches, right? The second is somebody who was a military personnel and was never in the service industry for restaurants, and they're offended right now. But then there's a third person who was both in the restaurant service industry and in military service, and that person is like, yeah, I don't know which was worse. I don't know which was worse. That person's our ally.
You're forgetting about the 4th listener,
Who's that?
the mother of Tony's son, because she heard he was talking shit, so she had to tune in, see what it was all about.
That's right. Well, all right. So how long were you at Friendly's for?
I was there for about 2 years before
Okay.
I ended up getting fired.
Oh, you did get fired. We'll get into that. So let's save that.
Yeah.
But so where do you jump from there? So you're at Friendly's for about 4 years. You get fired. Where have you bounced around since then?
So I stopped working at restaurants for a little bit, and I worked at like grocery stores because I had like an inn. And I actually ended up. I was at Denny's, working 10 at night until 6 in the morning. I was with Pizza Hut, which, I can't even believe they still have indoor dining. But they do.
It's salad bar, man. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, the only reason I ever got an A in my entire life was to turn in my report card for a free personal pan. They better have indoor dining, motherfucker.
Those personal pans, I still eat one like
They're the
at
best.
least once a week, man.
So were you always serving throughout this time, or when did you do the crossover to bartending?
Once I turned 21, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings, which is just a really great place to
Cheers,
work.
I've worked there too.
Oh my god.
Thank you for
Really
your
loved
service.
that. Yeah. Oh my god. That's where most of these stories are going to come from when we get into it, because that place was... Fuck.
I
man.
can't wait to talk shit on that restaurant. I cannot wait. It's one of my most hated national brands.
You
I'm
know,
telling you.
this. I don't know if this is.
Come and fucking take me, B-dubs. I can't wait to talk about the shit you did in West Virginia. Running out of chicken wings on a fucking Saturday night. How does that happen? You have to have a manager drive to another location. We're all weeded. All right,
No, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion or not, but I've never thought their wings were really that good.
No.
You know, like
No.
the whole establishment is built on that, and like every time I've gone there, I'm like, these are overpriced and they're shit.
Do you know why I think they're in business? They're the one restaurant that will actually waterboard people with ranch. And we all know how people feel about the ranch and blue cheese thing. All right, again, listeners.
Wait, we gotta find out, Tony, you team ranch or blue cheese?
I like them both. I guess it depends on where I'm at, but I think I've decided I'm with blue cheese.
All right, we're
Yeah.
fine. We can continue now.
I mean, if I'm having French fries and shit, you know, like I'm gonna
ranch
give me
is
some
fine.
ranch.
Hey, listen, we're not monsters, okay? But we've been kind of teasing the listeners for these shirts of Team Blue Cheese, Team Ranch, and I think we can end the debate when we see the T-shirt sales, because I think Team Blue Cheese, while they may be a silent majority or silent minority in this particular debate, I think that they're more passionate. I think that they're going to come. I think they have been insulted and they've been put down by these ranch eaters for years and years and years, and I won't have it anymore. I just won't. I think it's a very refined group of people, and they deserve their respect. That's all I'm going to say. They're a little chunky, okay, but we like the chunk. We like the chunk.
compared to
Sometimes,
ranch.
you know,
lovers.
sometimes you like it thick, you know.
All right, so where are you now?
The All American Steakhouse.
Okay.
Sports Theater in Perry Hall is what we're supposed to say when we answer the phone.
Sports Theater
Yeah,
in Perry Hall.
really fancy. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you guys do like releases of new movies? Or?
Yeah, it's like,
Nope, we can't even finish football games. I guess I'm up to 8 at this point. So.
All right, cool. Well, all right, we're gonna hop here. Thanks for giving us an overview. I can't wait to get into some of these stories, especially about Buffalo Wild Wings. Those are some of my favorite. So we're gonna take a quick little break, and then we're gonna hop right into the top 10. All right, Tony, we're going to get into the top 10. So these are, Mike and I kind of sat down. I want to say we started with a list of probably like 30 or 40 questions that we really wanted to ask people. And we tried to refine it into like a really palatable top 10 list that would be, relatable to bartenders and servers, but also like a lot of people who are not in the service industry would be interested in. And it took a lot of time. Mike and I had some fights about what to kick off this list, and I think some might come back over time, but we'll see. So we're going to run you through some of these. Love to hear what you have to say. So the first one we always start out with is pet peeves and misconceptions. Give us some of your service industry pet peeves that you either hate from servers, that you hate from your customers, or maybe just some misconceptions where customers don't understand certain things.
I am tired of carrying plates away from the table and being complimented on how good I am at my job, because it's like this is not like the end game for me. I appreciate the fact that they're just like, wow, you're really great at that. Like that's incredible. And I'm like, this is not what I want out of life. I appreciate what you're saying, but just shut up.
are you like putting them on dowel rods and spinning them away?
Sometimes I do spin them, and they do appreciate that, and they're like, "That's incredible." Or like, I'll like go up to a table or whatever, and if they're sitting on, if I have their dishes in both my hands and they happen to be on opposite sides, I do a crossover with my arms, and like these people are like, "What?"
Do you do BMX on the weekend?
It's just like I understand what I'm doing right now. And I appreciate like that you're trying to compliment me, but it's just like I don't want it. I know I'm good at this.
Lord.
This is fine.
So I gotta follow up though. Like, which is worse? Is it the compliment that somebody will give for you clearing the table, which I'm totally with you. It's super annoying. It's almost like patronizing in how it's because they do it over the top. It's not like, hey, thanks for clearing the table. It's like, whoa, look at you every single time, right?
Yeah.
Is that worse, or is it worse when you have that one person at the table who's also super motivated for clearing the table, and then they like get in your way, and they're like knocking over shit as you're trying to do shit, and you're like, you're not getting any of this tip. I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing.
I think it's definitely worse.
Yeah.
Because it's just the first part. Because it's just like, come on, like this is not where I want.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old.
Don't encourage
you're
me.
the same. You're the same age as me, and I'm just like, oh god, I hate my life.
Yeah. Well, not
I hate them more usually. So that's good. I at least feel comfort in that.
In that way, it really is. It's got to be somewhat cathartic in like knowing that there are other human beings out there that no matter where they are in their life, financially or with their job, they're awful humans. They're just, they're just they're unsavable. You know what I mean? Like they're unredeemable is the word I think I'm really looking for there. But the other tangent I'm going on in my head here is Mike just said, would you walk away from the table spinning the plates on dowel rods? And what you don't know is that Mike's little brother Morgan is an incredible fire poi spinner. Are you familiar with fire poi?
No.
So there are these. Mike,
I don't know where he's going with this.
I have a good idea here. Hold on. So fire poi are like these little balls that you soak in kerosene, and they're attached to a metal chain, and then you spin them. And
you light them on fire first.
You light them on fire, and then you spin them, and it's kind of like something out of like what you'd think of as like a circus sideshow.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really incredible. And now I'm envisioning a restaurant where the way that we clear your table is either we stack all the dishes up in like a bundle, we light that on fire and we spin it away from the table, or Morgan Windsor just comes up spinning fire and just like eliminates the table.
God damn it.
It's just like a plate and food disintegration type of situation. I don't know why my brain's doing that.
I don't know.
Anyway. This is a good Mai Tai. I'll tell you what.
Still in your system.
The guy didn't skimp on any of the coconut rum. 30%, I'll tell you. Well, anyway. All right. That's a good one. I like that. So that kind of leads us into the next one. So those people that you're pissed off with, let's talk about best and worst tips. Like, do those people end up ever being good tippers too?
You carried those plates away
well.
Here's a fucking bill, man.
Yeah. No. Because those are usually the people that are going to mention that they're going to leave me a good tip. Those are the people that don't know how to fucking leave a good tip.
Right.
Even with their calculator on their fucking phone out or their little card or whatever. Those aren't the people.
No, I'm glad you said that because there were so many times in my serving career where people would like try and allude like I'm gonna take care of you.
Why do they do
that? And then
that?
they would like leave you less than what is normally expected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like what the fuck
just
is it?
shut up next time. Don't get my fucking hopes up.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
What kind of narcissist does that to a human being? Where
Hopefully-
they're like, I'm going to reward you, I'm going to reward you, I'm going to reward you, and then disappears, and when you get to the table, you're like, God, the guy fucked me.
Hopefully a narcissist who's just really bad at math. Hopefully that's all it is.
That's the best case scenario, though, you know? So anyway, do you have any, like, best tip, worst tip stories? Like a big, crazy tip you got on Christmas or something? Or like a horrible tip that you really remember?
I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
I'll just go with this guy Kevin tonight. I mean, he's a really great guy. He looks like Jesus. He's got everything going. Like, he's always been really cool, and we just fucking shoot the shit, and we talk to each other like regular people, not like, hey, like, I'm Tony, I'm your bartender today.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do that shit. I don't even tell people my name. I hate it. But this guy tonight, like, he had a $35 check, and he left a $40 tip, and we're
That's
probably
awesome.
going to smoke some weed later on in the week, and
No.
it's like this 55-year-old guy.
Are you sure he's not actually Jesus? Like, he's come back.
That's why we're
2020's
gonna
happened,
smoke,
you know?
because we're gonna talk about it. He's gonna hang out with my cats. Hopefully, not bring a snake. He did mention it. I wasn't sure if that was like innuendo or
The
something.
snake, right?
Yeah, I was
Jesus
like,
and the snake, yep.
like how thick is that snake? Because I'm not with it.
I thought Jesus cast out the snakes.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, he's just alluding to
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
percent wise, that was really it made a difference to me today. I was having a shit day. I was just like, I hate doing this for a living, and
Yeah.
it's a $35 check, $40 tip, like that. Percent wise, I feel like that's something I'm gonna remember.
That's so many times. Like the thing about a good tip is that it can change your day, right? Like you can just be having, and it's not always like work. Like you can just be having a fucking shit week, a shit month, a shit year, and then somebody is just like kind to you.
Yeah, restore your faith in humanity.
Kind to you, and you're just and it's just that little moment. It doesn't even have to be a big tip, but like even something like that guy can afford $40, and it's probably even nothing to him, right?
And you're going to make sure to take care of him, of course, every time he comes in.
Now, did you guys kind of develop a rapport based on you both kind of look like Jesus?
Do I look like Jesus?
I mean, you look like Jesus with a good haircut.
Yes.
I'm just
I was gonna wear a hat, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna let this shit flow.
Yeah, it's you got some vibes there, but all right. What about worst drink orders? We were talking a couple weeks back about the candy Coronas. You just mentioned the coconut rum and Coca-Cola?
Diet Coca-Cola.
Diet Coca-Cola?
Diet. That's what, like, if it was Coke, I'd be like, alright, whatever. But then, I mean, I ended up drinking it, and it was kind of delicious, but still, not acceptable. Worst drink order? Anytime a fucking martini comes in, or a Manhattan.
What?
If a martini comes in, and it's just, like, extra dry on the rocks, this, that, and I'm like, No. I think after like doing this for at least the last 9 years that I'd like have it in my memory, but like Manhattans and martinis, just like I have to fucking Google it. and I feel like an idiot, like I've even been working alongside Anna, who's only been doing this for a very small period of time, and she's got that shit, and I'm like, I gotta Google this shit.
Hold on a second. Hold on, and I'm happy to say this to her face. I hope she's listening. Okay, Anna has a bit of the I'm the best at everything complex. I don't want to say it like that, but she no, a better way to put it is like she is a bit of the overachiever gene, and she's very talented and smart, and that's probably where that comes from. It does strike me as odd that this drink that's continued to be in your craw over the years has almost like developed a callus. Like you said yourself, I'm going to put my foot down. I'm not going to learn how to make it.
It's like my kryptonite. Like margaritas, I'm cool with. Mai Tais, cool. They both start with M. But then we get into martinis and Manhattans, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, do I put a sugar cube and some bitters in this shit? Like, I don't know.
I can respect that because until tonight I did not remember how to make a Mai Tai.
It
was those like the sex on the beach and stuff. Those are the ones I had to look up every single time.
Yeah,
I'm going to Tony's bar this week and I'm ordering a Man of War, which is a variation on a Manhattan, and I want it. I want it made correctly.
Well, I'll Google it.
I'm just gonna get whiskey in a glass and I'll be fine with it.
I think you can just have it for free, and then we won't even have to talk about how much it costs.
All right, well, tell us about some, this is category 4. Ultimate mistakes, fuck-ups, whether it's yours or your coworkers. I want to hear about, like, when you dropped a tray on, like, a senator's head or something like that.
It's good that you mentioned trays. I, have this habit of, I like to spin things that are like trays or books. Like I used to read my fucking son bedtime stories, and I would spin the book, and he would think it's the coolest thing, and I would do that with trays, and I was so confident and so cocky about it. Like I could even do I could throw the tray up in the air, do a spin. Now, I called it once.
Are we talking about like a food tray?
Yes.
A drink? Okay, food trays.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Or a drink tray. I mean, it was like if it's this big or if it's this big, I'm fucking spinning that shit. What's up?
Wow, that's
it's
super
like look at
impressive.
what I'm good at life. Like this is what I wanted.
So you are spinning the plates as you want. Now it all makes sense now. I'm gonna be one of those, if you ever serve me, I'll be one of those assets. Just that guy spun that fucking plate when he walked away.
Well, what's gonna happen is he's gonna half-ass it, and you're gonna feel gypped. You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Oh, I won't half-ass it.
Don't worry, I'm gonna give this guy a real good tip.
Yeah, just don't tell me because I know you won't. But I mean, I was just very confident about it. I was like, I'm never gonna fuck this up. And then I did. I smacked this guy outside right in the neck. It just flew out of my hand, and my manager was just like, "You're not allowed to spin trays on here." And I was like, "That was the one time."
Hold on.
That's the only time.
Hold on.
Right in the neck.
You just told that story like our friend Nick Gann. The way Nick tells stories is he will keep them to himself for months and months and months at a time, and then all of a sudden he'll give you the punchline, and you're like, "Wait, you visited Texas, met a Colombian drug cartel, and now you're like a representative for them on the East Coast? That's like something you should lead with. Why are you not telling me all this?" I have to go on another tangent here. He tells me this story earlier this week. So a lot of people don't know this, But January and February are peak season for foxes to mate.
Oh.
The female foxes are in heat, and they make this horrible, horrible hissing sound that can only be described as Tom strangling a duck on the side of the road.
You gotta quit saying his name. We're gonna have to edit that out now because he's already raised complaints.
I'm not editing it out. I'm doubling down on that shit.
Which that's not a euphemism. Tom literally did strangle a duck on the side of the road, and we ate it later that night.
The point of what I'm trying to say, okay, is that these female foxes in heat sound like a bird being strangled. It's a very terrible, awful sound. So I'm sitting here in my house. I hear it the other day. I run out there. There's a couple foxes in my driveway. I Googled this and I learned this information. Now, I am hanging out with my friend Nick Ann the other day, and he says to me, yeah, I saw two foxes fucking. They tried to run away, and they got stuck around a tree. I said, say what now? Say what now? Apparently, he pulled into the driveway. There were two foxes fucking in the driveway. When they saw his car, the male fox got a fear boner, and they took off, and the foxes got stuck together, genital to genital.
Yeah.
And they hit a tree, and they wrapped around it like what you'd think of maybe a horseshoe might.
Yeah.
And they were both trying to run away, stuck together by their genitals, trying to get off this tree.
This I didn't know this for so many years, but that's how dogs mate, and like it looks super weird because they're like facing opposite directions.
Yeah.
And until like the male's genitals stop swelling so much,
They
can't
get
apart.
unstuck?
It's crazy,
That's
man. Like
insane to
that
me.
just seems like a really weird, thing to happen in evolution because you're just two dinners right there, like.
Do you think that humans are capable of that? This is a different podcast. Okay, anyway. So my point is,
I hope not.
you just did the same thing there. You didn't fuck a fox against a tree, but you did that thing where you buried the lead. You said that you flung the tray outside and it hit a guy in the neck. Can I get some more details?
I was just.
Where are you in the story? You behind the bar?
Yeah. Well, no.
Paint
I
the
was
picture
actually.
for
I was helping a server out. I was bartending that day, but I was helping the server out because they needed help on the patio at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
And I just was so confident in my ability to spin the tray that I'm like, this is never fucking gonna go wrong because it never had. And then that shit flew off and hit him in the neck. And
How far away is this man from you? I want to understand the frisbee length.
He was about 4 or 5 feet away.
I mean, that's solid distance.
Yeah, no, I was like doing a great job until I fucking hit him in the neck.
So are we talking like, again, I need a few more details. Is this like in the larynx? Like in the Adam's apple?
Adam's
Side
apple.
of the neck?
In the food,
Right in the middle of the neck?
Yeah,
is all the
yeah.
food
He was
still-
looking at me because he was impressed, I'm sure. And so I'm sure.
You guys are making eye contact while this is happening?
I was like,
This is so
I'm
much
so
worse.
sorry, man. Like, and then I just walked away because I was bartending and I didn't have to worry about it.
Oh, fucking Lord.
But like the wings go everywhere, right?
No, I already had the food off.
Oh,
the
you were
tray.
just
I was
imagining-
just walking
okay,
away
thank
like,
God.
look what I can do.
Okay.
And I just didn't.
Oh.
Now, how did he react to it? Because that's the big thing.
he said
We've talked about how it's almost
He
like
coughed a little, and then he was fine, and he didn't seem to care. It's just, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids. I would have gotten away with it, but my manager happens to be standing at the door watching.
man.
And that's, of course, the one time a Buffalo Wild Wings manager is actually doing
Yeah.
his job.
I didn't even know you were working today.
Sorry, that's the one time a Buffalo Wild Wings manager isn't fucking one of the 16-year-old hostesses, you know? Great.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to get sued. It's all right.
It's worth it.
It's all right. Come and fucking take me, B-dubs!
Yeah, fuck you.
It's funny. We were talking about that. It's almost like when you fuck up, even if it's at the customer's expense, like physically, like dropping something, hitting them in the neck, they for whatever real weird reason. Sorry, I got tongue tied there. I feel like I got hit in the neck with a tray. They feel bad for you, and you get like sympathy tips, and they're like nicer to you.
Well,
and you're
not in this scenario because he wasn't even getting tipped on.
No, I just went away. I was like, I'm not dealing with the aftermath.
you
of this
just
shit.
drifted into the
And they were
shadows.
just like, no more spinning trays.
Oh my God.
I can see you just Trey hits the guy in the neck, goes, "Yep, sorry," and just walk away. Sorry.
All right, well, this is similar. Next category. It's not quite mistakes. I really want to hear about health code violations.
And do be careful to protect the
protect the
identities
innocent.
of the guilty and the innocent.
The guilty and the
Okay?
innocent.
I will not name the restaurant.
Yes, there we go.
No, and don't name the people either, unless you can use like a fake name, like what was Thunder Dick.
We
what
gotta
was
come
his
up
name?
with some new names.
Yeah, we do have to come up.
It was just a restaurant, is what it was called.
Okay.
It was a really cool place.
What kind of food did they sell?
Definitely not steaks.
Okay.
That's for sure. That's all I can say. Breakfast food is what we'll go with.
Okay.
I like come in one day and this shitty jerk of a bartender, who I was like coming in to relieve, is just like, he's just like, we don't have any hot water, and I was like, what do you mean we don't have hot water? He's like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, but you just said it. Like, did you not want me to repeat it? And he was like, we don't have any hot water, and we shouldn't even be allowed to be open right now. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do about this? Like, how do we wash our dishes? And he's like, take them all down. And they're steaming, or they're boiling pots of water in giant fucking pots. And that's how they're washing everything. And we got away with that for the entire day, and we should have realistically shut down, because that's not, like, I understand you were boiling the water, you were like trying to take the steps, but the steps that needed to be taken were just close. Just close until you get that shit fixed. And like our kitchen manager at the time was just like, I'm not working under these conditions. I'm not doing that shit. And he was like a new kitchen manager, and so they ended up firing him that day.
Oh, wow.
Which was crazy, because he's like, I'm not doing it. And then he went outside and called the health department. And I'm like, what? This is really entertaining. I'm glad we stay open.
It's insane to me how resilient restaurants are. It's the type of profession that is open to anybody, no matter what your financial background is, your race background, your education level. And I think it does draw like a lot of people that have maybe been through some shit, or for whatever reason have a bit of a backbone, because when shit hits the fan, there's always like stories about how restaurants like figured out how to jimmy rig some shit. I can't tell you how many times where I'm like, oh, we just had a fire in the kitchen. Some guy that the owner knows is going to drive his pit smoker over here, and we're going to cook all the food out back in the parking lot and then bring it in through the kitchen. And that's just like how we're going to do it for 3 days until like it's always some shit like that. It feels a little bit like jackassy, like, a wad of duct tape, and we can just like get back to it, I don't know if that's been anybody else's experience, but
yeah, I would say to some extent.
I just feel like washing dishes in boiling water would be really painful.
Yeah. Well,
it seems really.
And it was like the owner of the restaurant. That was what was crazy to me. It's like, damn, like he really doesn't want us to close today, which sucks, because I really would like to not be here.
He had no idea COVID was coming, did he?
No, this was a couple years ago, but yeah, we definitely would have been shut down then. So I guess that's like the biggest thing. Also, just working at Buffalo Wild Wings in general, or just like any restaurant that I've ever fucking worked at, where they're just like the kitchen employees and they're just making salads and tossing that shit, and I'm like, where are your gloves? Where are your gloves? You haven't washed your hands, and that's fine. I don't care if they get sick or anything. That's not my concern. But I feel like we should at least look the part.
Yeah.
Because, like, I can't... Like,
I mean, there's only so many times you can look at your line cook and be like, dog, I just saw you go across the street on your lunch break and eat at the Buffalo Wild Wings. And now you're back here making, like prepping for dinner? Like, stop. Stop what you're doing. You need to wash your hands. Very clear.
Hey, unless you've had an E. coli scare, you're good to go.
Oh. God, the Unos in Bel Air. We're going to get to that story one day. They're shut down. We don't have to worry about any lawsuits there. It's not a public defamation case anymore. It's public record. So this is a good segue to more the front of the house. Obviously, your health code violations are what's happening internally with your staff, and your other coworkers. What you see, maybe what you participated in. But now we're talking about ratchet and crazy customers.
Is there a separate category for just fights?
Oh, we're gonna get to fight.
Cool, because I want to make sure.
Very happy you asked that.
You looked really excited
Now,
as soon as you said that.
To be honest with you, so our next category, 7, is fights, arrests, and fires. If you want, throw them all together, and we'll run a big fucking hybrid category for the people.
Yeah.
If you're listening out there, strap on your fucking ear protectors, because we got some shit coming here.
Oh, there's some shit. Well, I'll just, instead of going directly to the fights, I'll start with the aggressive old grandfather at Buffalo Wild Wings. A few years ago, he told me to, when I was working there at the time, he said, I want this many wings, but I want them to be little. I was like,
I'm
all right,
sorry?
bet. Like, that doesn't make sense. But I'll tell the kitchen. I'm sure they're going to be very receptive of that.
Just
Like,
just get half of the regular order,
Yeah,
man.
I'm like,
What do you want?
No. I think that this is a crispy situation. I think he wants smaller physical wings
So they're
so that
crispy.
when they cook, they're crispy.
Okay.
That's
maybe-
that's a
it
shot in the
had
dark.
to be that, yeah.
That's a shot in the dark there.
He was like at...
What are you? Well, hold on. What are you doing trying to justify that fucking order?
I'm not justifying. I'm just saying, if you want the smaller amount, order half of it, and you'll get what you're asking for.
I am shocked. I feel like, I mean, how long have I known you? Probably a decade now. I would think that you're the first one in line to be like, fuck that guy. And you were sitting over here, like, ready to put together his defense.
I'm saying to that guy he should change his order to make more sense. You know, don't order smaller wings, just order less.
I just
you know?
can't even believe you give him the benefit of the doubt that he's being rational, because clearly he's not. Who says that? Who says I'd like this
He's
man
a
wings?
senior citizen, man, you know? I'm just kidding. I don't give a shit. Fuck
I'll
that
hit an
guy.
old man in public.
Fuck that
I
guy.
will.
I don't know without that
I
guy.
hope he chokes on one of those fucking wings.
If they were smaller, he wouldn't choke on it. Anyway.
So yeah, he's out to fucking dinner with his granddaughters, and the food comes out, and the wings weren't small enough for him. And I'm like, well, God, this is shocking. I didn't think this was gonna lead to a problem. And he's just like, and my food's not even hot. And I'm like, and he's just like, feel them. And I'm like, sir, I'm not touching your food. And he was just like, no, feel it. You need to know. And I was like, I believe what you're saying. I'm just not going to touch it because that doesn't seem to benefit either of us.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the next exchange of words, but it was enough to make this man stand up. He was a lot taller than I thought he would be. And also a senior citizen, so I'm like, I'm not going to fight this guy. And he just is like, I'm telling you to touch my food. And I'm like, that doesn't make, like, I'm not doing it. I believe you. I can go get some more if that's what you want. And so he was just being very, like, adamant about me touching his food. And I just was like, I literally said to him, I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm going to go get you a different server because this isn't going to work. And I just, like, essentially, and I went to the manager and I told him exactly what had just transpired. And I was like, I'm not waiting on that guy. So the manager waited on him. And I was just like, and so I just, like, basically hid from that dining room. Because I was just like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. But it was just like, what a weird request. And then you want me to touch your food? You know we're just going to microwave it in the back, right? Like, it's not hot enough? Cool, now that I've just fingered it up, let's just put it in the fucking microwave. And hit the 2 button, and then just, we'll be fine.
I feel like this is just that game that you will never. I mean, I could work in the service industry for 400 years, and I would still be waking up blown away how customers are acting. Like, blown away. There's always just unique behavior. It's so fucking ridiculous how these people act when they go out to eat.
You just see like you sneaking by. He's like, there he is. There's a pussy who wouldn't touch my food.
It reminds me of that.
Alright, sir, I'm sorry.
It reminds me of that scene from, what is it, The Other Guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, where they go to visit Will Ferrell's ex-wife, and her new husband is chasing him down the street going, you get back here and you have sex with my wife! You get back here and you touch my fucking wings!
God damn it.
Yeah. But, so tell us about the fight stories then.
Oh, God.
Because obviously this one didn't escalate to fisticuffs. There were no skullduggery in this particular story. There's no ballyhoo. You know?
This is a good one.
Come on, hit me.
Oh, my God. So, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. You would never have guessed that. And it was a Tuesday night, and I don't know if you recall, but that is wing night. That's where shit gets crazy.
Oh, they tell me.
Oh my God. And that's when they were 25 cents a piece.
Tuesday night's wing night?
Yeah.
Tuesday night's fucking taco night. Taco Tuesday.
Well, that was the whole...
That's why they came out with like a taco flavor.
Oh my God. Wednesday night, it's an alliteration. Wednesday night wings. Give me a fucking ring.
Buffalo Wild Wings in the corporate training, their big thing was that that they felt like that was a day they could compete because everybody that didn't want tacos, they could steal that
Who
business.
doesn't want fucking tacos?
I understand. Savages, right? Communists. But the
Old men who want you to touch their fucking food.
right. You know what? You're just begging him to go get a taco at that point. No, but apparently this was like a thing that they actually thought about. They were like, we can steal some of the business of people who are going to go out on a Tuesday that might not want a taco, right? Maybe they made tacos on Monday. And then we're going to actually steal the business for the wing special each week because we're not going to be on Wednesday when everybody's doing wings. We're going to have our special on another day. That was like their big thing that they justified. I was like, okay, this is... So basically now you've identified what night I'm going to be miserable.
Fuck Buffalo Wild
anyway.
Wings. Anyway, continue.
Shit.
Okay. So it's Tuesday night wing
Tuesday night. We would just have like a certain college that would just take like the bus route. So many of these people, and they would just flood the restaurant all at once. They had no patience for anything. We had extra servers, staffed, and everything. And my roommate at the time felt a little bit nervous that her table was going to walk out because at Buffalo Wild Wings, that's not uncommon.
So your roommate was also serving at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yes, okay. And she is... Or well, I was gonna say she was a woman. She's still a woman. This is important to the story. So she's watched. She's just like, I feel nervous that this table's not gonna pay because it's all separate checks, and like I don't know. I'm getting this weird feeling. So she has the manager watch him, which he sucked as a manager and a person. So he wasn't doing a great job, and he was making it very fucking obvious. And it was just like, what are you doing? Like I watched him watch them. It was like I was like, this is crazy. And so then. The guy just like got an attitude with the server, and this other server stepped in. The initial server was my roommate at the time, and she was just like, "No, you guys, no, we're not gonna have this." And she like separated these people because he got in his face once he told it. Like he's just like, "Look, man, just pay the check."
So hold on, let me get this straight. So your roommate's serving the table.
Yes.
Table's maybe not gonna pay their check. The people at the table are getting into it over the check.
No, they started to get into it with like they realized they were being watched.
Okay,
and they were like
I got
uncomfortable with that.
So now this other server comes over and tries to kind of like break,
just like mediate.
Okay,
yeah.
Now what ensues from there?
Oh God. Well, so she's like my roommate at the time gets in the middle of them, the one that's waiting on them, and separates them, and she's just like, no, we're not doing this, and pushes them lightly away from each other, and the guy shoves her. The customer shoves her. She shoves him back, so he cocks back and punches her in the face.
Oh,
her in the face?
Chips her tooth. The other guy, the other server that had just gotten involved, went to swing back, but then at that point, the other three friends at the table knocked him to the ground and started stomping on him. They were literally stomping on his head, and I like walk up the ramp. And I'm just like...
To a full melee.
I'm like, what is that? I'm going to go back down there. So I went back down there because I just didn't even know what was happening.
You should have just started spinning trays left and right,
What's up, guys? Start slinging them at him. Got you right in the neck, bitch.
This is like, if Buffalo Wild Wings had folding chairs. It's like one folding chair away from a cage match right here.
I literally had... So I had these regulars every week that would come in and they would sit with me. And it was a party of about 10 to 15 people. I walk up the ramp, and I'm like seeing whatever the fuck is happening, and I'm like just confused by it all. And I'm looking at my table of all those regulars. It was just a bunch of like teenage kids holding their table in place because at this point we just have everyone getting involved. Like several
people are bumping into tables, shit's flying. Right?
They're knocking tables over. Everyone's just fighting everyone, and it doesn't even make any sense. I like stand up on a booth to try to be helpful, and I'm like, guys, stop it. It's what I feel like I said because it just wasn't helpful. And then I was like, I gotta get back down there. We had like 3 or 4 employees go to the hospital that night. She had her tooth chipped. They were and we're like right across from like a police precinct. So then the police come up, and some of the employees are following the customers out to get their tag number, and then 2 of those guys get knocked out. And it was
the police?
Like, no.
I was gonna say
just the other employees, and it was just like, what the fuck? And then they were like, we're gonna close down early tonight. And if you're over 21, you can get a drink. And I was 19 and really mad about that.
Oh, man.
Like, fuck that. Are you serious?
Do you know what would make this whole thing a little less tense and a little more fun? Is if Buffalo Wild Wings actually had like a ranch hose. Like a firefighter grade ranch hose where you could come up the ramp, see this, and be like, Get the ranch hose and just grab it and start fucking just absolutely just torching the entire dining section with like a high-powered high-pressured ranchos. And for some reason in my head, the song from like Dukes of Hazzard is playing.
What is wrong with you? God damn it. That's insane. How bad was the guy hurt who they were stomping on him? That seems really, really intense.
He was in the hospital for a couple days. They literally were stomping on his fucking head.
Did anybody get prosecuted through this whole thing?
No.
Oh my god!
And you know what? We saw some of them back there the next Tuesday.
And
and they probably got a free appetizer on
That's what one of our fight stories. The fucking asshole came back 2 or 3 nights later, like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! That's.
You know, I gotta be honest with you. Your dick has to feel like it's made of concrete when you go into a bar, you fight a bunch of people, you walk out, there's literally 0 consequences. You have to wake up the next morning and be like, I am all that is man.
Well, because they probably didn't even pay for their fucking check, right?
No.
Yeah, of course not.
Right? Of course they're coming back. Of course they're coming back.
Bad
Why
precedent.
wouldn't they come back?
Bad
They're not paying
precedent
for
to
anything.
set.
They're fighting anybody that won. Why wouldn't they come back, right? Well, that's an all-timer. That's obviously, I think right now tops the cake. like when we're talking fight stories so far, I've never heard some shit like that. That's crazy.
But yeah, punching a lady in the face. That's just fucked up. But yeah. So let's we don't have to take the energy down, but just shift it in a different direction. Now we want to move on to sex stories. All right. Something maybe, somebody got in the bucket of ranch with somebody else.
But it should be specifically at work.
Well, it could be people from work, you know what I mean?
From work, customers.
I don't want to hear about you fucking somebody last weekend at your apartment, you know what I mean?
It's not like...
I mean, yeah.
So,
yeah, we don't have to talk about her.
So it's not like you're a bartender and somebody comes in and gives you their number one day. Now, if there's a great story with it, sure. But like, we're looking for like, hey, you fuck somebody in the walk-in cooler during the dinner.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't have to even be anything like that. Because after we've been doing this for a couple times, I remember when you and I were working at the Nautilus.
Oh yeah.
I remember I was there one late night shift, and I had a table, and I got a new guy sitting by himself, and he had like an iPad or something. And I went and I was taking care of the one table. And I walked up, I came up, because just the way the layout was, I had to come up from behind him to like be like, hey, welcome, my name's Michael, and as I walk up behind him, he's got all this hardcore porn playing on his fucking tablet. And I'm like, oh, hi. He's like, oh, I'm like, can I get you a drink? Like, what the fuck, though, man? Like, who does that?
A
like,
diner?
Sitting at a diner, like, just like there's people right across from him, and he's just got hardcore porn blaring on his phone. Like, the sound was off.
The tables are so close.
I know, and he's just got, and he acts all surprised, like, oh, I'm just getting. I was like, yeah, man, like
he's gonna bump the Jewish lady next to him with his elbow if he takes it to the next level. Like, what the fuck?
It was embarrassing for both of us, I think.
No, so yeah, look, it's malleable. It's just like the one that I always think of for this category is when we're working down at the beach, and it's Tom and Nick and I, and we're working down at the 9th Street Tap House. We had this incredible manager, and I say incredible not in the sense of like positively, like not a good thing. I mean incredible as people are like, wow, that's an amazing fire. You know what I mean? So
no, I don't know what you mean.
do you know how you can like use the word like incredible to describe something so like
a natural disaster?
Yeah, like that's an incredible tidal wave, not necessarily being a good thing. Okay. That was this manager, Chuck, okay? This guy was always screwed up on something, but treated us really well. He was a total character. I can't tell you how many times that summer, middle of the biggest dinner rushes we would have, it would be like, it'd be like Bike Week, it'd be Blue Marlin, and the next thing you know, we'd turn around, we'd have no manager, we'd have no lead bartender, and we're like, where the fuck is Chuck?
I know where
and
Chuck's
we'd look over to the other side of the restaurant, and it was a bar in a hotel. So we had an elevator that went up to the other parts of the hotel, right? And Chuck, being the manager, had a key to that elevator. So when you saw the elevator doors kind of like back and forth, you knew that Chuck was in there fucking some girl in the elevator. He had taken the key in there and locked it.
That's awesome.
And was fucking her during.
That's awesome, yeah.
It is awesome, but at the same time, I'm like, fuck you, Chuck. I need a fucking manager cop right now. You know? And he's probably got a fear boner.
Good
he
for
can't pull
He's
out.
stuck. Yeah, got to call the fire department. Good for Chuck.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, we just totally stole the thunder there.
It's
Any good sex stories?
I mean, I've had sex with too many coworkers.
Yeah.
I can say that. But sometimes it's really fun and easy and I just really enjoy it. It's never been at work, but it's been
cool.
just too many.
That's like Steve was talking about. You're like, it's such a high intensity job, and you're working so close with people, and you're like passing them in close spaces. Like, there's a lot of tension that builds up.
And I used to like do this thing when I was younger, like probably like a late teenager, where I would walk by, like as if like I walk all weird, just to see if I could like slightly. I feel so fucked up because it sounds so perverted, but I just wanted to see if I could slightly touch their ass and make it look like an accident, and then just get the reaction. Like, what's up, though? Sorry about that, but how do you feel about it? Is essentially where I was, but I was never like I wouldn't just go up and smack it. It'd be like, I walk like this. Everyone knows that, and I don't walk like that. I'm not fucking Gumby. So.
That is some dedication to a long time. That's some dedication.
I'll tell you, he just walks all lanky like that. There's nothing going on.
That's how he does it.
I'm gonna say it works like a half dozen times.
I mean, I'll tell you. Listen, it's such a high emotion business, man. There's friction. There's friction between people, and like, it's. I've always been blown away by how quickly people can go from hating each other to fucking each other in a restaurant. 1 minute you're like, fuck you are the worst employee ever.
And the next minute you're like, yeah, fuck you.
You're like, fuck you. You're the worst employee ever, but god damn, your pussy feels good.
Jesus Christ.
Alright, that might have been.
We gotta get some ladies on here.
Alright. I'm sorry. Come back, everybody. We're going to try to land this plane here. Okay.
You got to remember, your hosts are drinking. So.
Yeah, and let me just say, best Mai Tai
want some more?
I've ever had. You know what? Fuck y'all. We're taking a break. I need another drink. All right, we're back. That was a totally genuine sigh of sweet, sweet nectar. Now that all of our glasses are full again, let us embark on probably... I think the category that's nearest and dearest to my heart. Tony, have you ever noticed how the restaurant industry slowly drives you insane, like a dripping faucet that won't stop in the night and it breaks you like a horse? You ever notice that?
Yeah, I feel like I die inside every day. More than I thought was possible.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Mike and I used to work at this diner where instead of playing the radio, they played a closed circuit CD with 50 songs on it that played in a loop. It was a 24-hour diner, Tony. It got to the point where I could predict the song that was coming 3 songs from now, and I would freak the old Jewish ladies out. But it slowly made me, I believe that's how serial killers are made. I really believe that might be
like Bill Murray. Like,
I'm telling you, man, it was like a Groundhog Day, but all I could think about was was wiping somebody else's blood across the chrome for some reason. I don't know why it went so dark there, but so anyway, to fill these vacant voids where we just feel like we're losing our minds, we come up with bar hazing, pranks, and games. And it's just stuff to entertain us when we're at work and it's slow, or we're bored and we're just losing it. So, have you played any bar games over the years? Are there any famous like hazing rituals that you've seen working at restaurants?
Yeah.
I wish that people wouldn't think it was so funny to freeze my keys. But moving on from that, I still do this to this day. I did it today all day because I don't care about my job. I know I should, but it sucks. Where I follow around the servers against their will and pretend that I'm training with them. I did that all day. I didn't realize my one coworker was having a bad day until I stood behind her while she took this 15-minute fucking order. And I'm like, that was a lot. And she was like, yeah, I was already annoyed with them, and then you came up and just stood there. And they were like, do you want to help him out? And I'm like, no, it's my first day. I'm just learning some shit. And I love to do that shit because they hate it.
That's a good one.
So
I've never heard of this. I'm stealing this.
Dude,
I gotta give it a try.
It makes me so happy. It did not make any of my coworkers happy.
Do you interject at all?
Yes.
So
whenever I feel it.
Like asking questions.
Yeah. And I'll
does that cost extra?
I'll ask I really genuinely have no idea, and I've never worked in a fucking restaurant. And it's so much fun for me because I didn't work hard today, but I followed several coworkers around and did that shit, and it made me happy.
You're like an emotional support animal, except for you're doing it for your own benefit.
Yeah.
You know?
The only animal that's being supported.
Right.
One of the servers even said something to the GM, and she was just like, Tony's like following me to my tables, and she was just like, just let him do it, he needs it. And I was like, wow, you're right, I really do need
Dude,
this.
that is
This is
so-
making me fucking laugh.
That is so underrated.
Oh.
That reminds me a lot of the standing games Tom used to play. I know we've like referenced a bunch of them, but like, so it's similar to what you're talking about, where you'll go to tables and just do something very subtle, really, really, really subtle, and it's not super jarring even for the customer, but like it really makes you laugh and brings you joy. I would challenge you to add one of these little ticks in. So our buddy Tom had this. Loved to all the time. He would walk up to a table and he would do one of two things. When he got to the table and he's standing like facing the table, he would spread his legs as far as he could, and he would stand with his legs like spread out wide. So he'd be like eye level with the center of the table, standing like like an Olympic gymnast doing a split. Or this was my favorite one. He'd walk up to the table and then he'd turn profile. And he would face sideways to the table and never make eye contact with any of the people and take the whole order facing the other direction.
God.
I think it'd be hilarious is if you followed a server around and then when they went to take the order, you stood like back to back.
Oh god, they're gonna hate me.
That would really
give
freak.
them ideas.
That would
That's-
really freak some
it's
people
okay,
out.
because I need to get through these shifts somehow.
Wait, no, I am curious though. So, like freezing your keys, did they put them in like water and
Yeah.
freeze them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright,
That's
pretty
brutal.
Yep, I remember it once destroyed my
Your
good.
father?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, whatever the fuck
Oh,
it. Yeah,
God
yep.
damn.
And I'm like, that was funny until that happened.
Yeah.
Now I'm mad at you. And stop putting straws on me, Justin. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna stick a straw right here. I'm gonna light this one on fire and attach it to. It's just like, stop doing these things, Justin. We get it. You're funny, I guess. In this room. Oh God, he could possibly listen to this. Jesus. Oh, I love you, Justin.
Well, speaking of people that should be fired or should quit, no, let's move on to our last category. Quitting and firing stories.
Getting 86.
Getting 86 is what we call it. The final category of the top 10. Do you have any like famous middle fingers to the skies? Fuck you, friendlies. Choke on your hot fudge sundae on the way out the door type of shit?
I was just like a teenager, so I just was like rebellious. Like at one point they had to make a rule for the guys because I was just a stupid idiot, and I at some point came in and my finger, like one of my coworkers painted my fingernails black. And I just was like not very popular with my managers because I refused to use a tray and everything. And then one day they were just like, yeah, we don't like the way that you act. So you're gone.
I painted my nails hot fudge for
Yeah, are
you.
you fucking
For
kidding
this
me?
establishment.
At Friendlies. And then they almost fired me. Very close at Buffalo Wild Wings because I was working a shift one night and I did this thing with some of my coworkers where we would take samples of beer. By the end of the night, we maybe had an entire 16-ounce beer. It wasn't shit. But one customer left his credit card one night and came back the next day and was just like pissed off kind of at himself for leaving it like an idiot.
Right.
But then was just like, by the way, your bartender was taking shots last night.
Oh.
And I walk into my shift the next day and I look in the office through like the two-way fucking mirror and I can see they're all like all the managers are huddled around the computer and they're watching
The security camera.
And
I'm
you take
like,
a
oh my
shot of a
God.
light beer. Right.
I'm like, no.
What
And I
a
couldn't.
piece of shit, by the way.
Yeah.
What a fucking
Yeah,
asshole.
blame your problems
They
on
were
me.
taking shots. Fucking
Oh, yeah,
piece
like,
of-
shut up.
Yeah, that's why
bitch.
you left your card
Yeah.
here. Correct.
Yeah,
Fuck
you
that
stupid
guy.
idiot. Yeah,
So-
that guy sucks. I actually ran into that guy.
With your car, right?
Yeah, he's dead. No, like I had put my 2 weeks notice in at that point because they were like, "What do you want us to do? We should fire you." And I'm like, "Why don't you just demote me? Like, why am I giving you ideas on how to handle this?" And I ended up working the next day. But I worked my friend's shift, but he wasn't a very strong bartender, so I worked his serving shift. I got all of my own shifts covered because I was like a full-time bartender at that point. And I was like, look, like, let me still serve here. And they were like, all right, that's fine. You know, that's cool. And then before the 2 weeks was over, this guy was sitting in somebody else's section on a Tuesday night, wing night, and I saw him, and I was like, well, I'm quitting, so, like, I don't care. So I went up and I sat with him, and I was just like, hey, man, thank you. Like, and he was just like, what are you talking about? I was like, I know it's you. You know, like, I know.
You changed my life, bro.
Yeah, like, I know your face. Like, I know it was you. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, no. Remember when you told me about, you know, taking shots of beer? I was like, well, now I'm leaving this restaurant, and I couldn't be happier, so thank you. And he was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, I know it's you. And then I just let it be.
This guy's an asshole and a coward.
Yeah.
And
he was big enough that he could have kicked my ass easily. Most people are.
Not to mention, how does he not have the self-awareness to understand that you're actually like legitimately reveling in this wonderful thing that's happened to you? I'm out of this.
I admit, if I was that
changed
guy,
my life by being a dickhead.
I would definitely think he's being sarcastic.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's what, you know, he never admitted to it. That's why he's dead.
Pussy.
So.
Well, that's pretty good, man. I mean, that's a great way to get 86. It's still on your own terms.
Yeah.
But taking shots of beer is always, you know, it's always just, I feel like the people that should be embarrassed more in that scenario is the managers and the customer, you know, so. Anyway.
Or just let people take a couple shots of beer and don't fucking worry about it.
There you
It's
go.
not that big of a goddamn deal.
Shitty the rest of these
People
employees
are
are.
people are getting their fucking teeth chipped in this fucking place. Let them have a goddamn shot of beer, for God's sake.
It's a fucking
Most of it's foam anyway. God damn it.
That's you gotta like almost claim PTSD at that point. You know how many fights I've seen in this place? I fear for my life every time I come in to sell hot wings. All right, well, that's 86. That's our top 10. Now we're going to clean it up. We call this the How's My Driving category. We're trying to understand stuff that we've missed, right? Because we want to get better, right? We like constructive criticism. So I want to hear from you. You know, do you have any recommendations on categories that we missed, things that we should be asking other bartenders, or are there any bars and restaurants or food that you're really into right now? You know, I know it's COVID, so that's kind of tough, but, you know, any recommendations for us?
You guys did a pretty good job. I want to know, I think you may want to ask some of these people how many like times they've been woken up in the middle of the night having these terrible fucking dreams.
Oh my God, he's
just
so right.
They combine restaurants sometimes and just people, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I can't take another 17 top. That seems like a lot, and I don't
He's
understand
so
why
right.
you don't
We
understand.
need to have a server nightmares category.
Yeah, and
He's so right. Oh
in the
my
fucking ranch, and I know we see it online all the time where people were like, oh, I fucking forgot the ranch, but like that's for real. That is for real. Where it's just like, shit, I ruined that
fucking
person's
ranch
night.
people, man.
They didn't even get their honey mustard. Oh, how did they enjoy anything? You know, like
Dude, I still wake up like that. I'm not kidding.
I've had
feel
a
like
lot
I'm
of
buried.
dreams. Yeah, well, it reminds me. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Waking Life. It's this kind of like avant-garde kind of indie film. It's about this guy having a
Doesn't
dream.
sound like you at all.
Fuck you. He's having this dream, but there's this one person he's talking to him. He's like, he's talking about having dreams when you're working. He's like, yeah, they take your waking hours for minimum wage, and then they get your dreams for free. You're fucking working off the clock, motherfucker.
Working 9 to 5. I love Dolly. All right. Well, that's a great one. We're going to have to add that. I don't know how we're going to fit it in. I think we can probably warp one of the categories, maybe extend it, but I love that.
11's a good number though.
11 is a hot number.
It's a nice number.
I like it too.
It's my son's. I got that shit tattooed.
Oh,
It's my
nice.
son's birthday, 11/11.
Wow.
Is it really?
There you go.
Yeah,
That's a cool number.
and he's 11 this year. Let's go.
Whoa,
You know,
shit.
11's also one of my Keno numbers, so I'm pretty high on that. It's true.
Yeah, I can't talk shit on that because Justin, my buddy, won me a bunch of money.
I
on
love
Keno
Keno,
one
man.
time.
I love
There's
Keno.
something to it.
77, 44, and 11. Play him like Novocaine. All right. So this is the wrap up. We're just going to do a little close, get you out of here. Thank you, man. We've had an awesome time hanging out with you. And I have to say, I'm feeling a little tipsy right now.
Oh, yeah.
These Mai
I
Tais
polished
have
off
been
a 40 a natty bow before I got
delicious.
here.
Why do you... God, I wish you would have brought some beers.
I'll take a shot of Fireball and some Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, they've been delicious. Thank you for bringing the Mai Tais. It's a great, you know, kind of switch up. I also feel like I needed some fruit because I don't know if it's just COVID, but I feel like I got some scurvy.
Yeah, you
coming
got
on.
scurvy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
it kind
scurvy
of looks like
coming
it,
on,
man.
so I don't feel healthy. So wrap up. This is just kind of, you know, the questions we're going to send you out on. So why do you still do this? AKA the why do you hate yourself category.
Well, This is gonna get really deep, really fast.
Give it to me.
No, it's not gonna get
we don't always have to be funny on this pod. We don't always have to be funny.
Man.
We're talking to other people that have been in the trenches just like us. They're dealing with the same type of, the same
dreams.
Yeah.
Whatever
you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, man. Just speak to the people.
I'm still doing this because when I was 19 I guess I met her when I was 17 at Friendly's, and that's my son's mother. We broke up, I think, when he was 3 months old, and I was slapped with $750 a month in child support.
Jesus
Christ!
Christ!
At the age of 19.
Woof.
After I had just moved out on my own. Yep.
God damn.
Just recently got it lowered to 600. Fucking killing it.
Great.
And they can't take what they can't prove you're making.
Ayo.
So
wow,
I get to control when I pay my bills, which is most of the time behind, unfortunately. But it's just where I'm at. And with my schedule with my son, especially recently, because after this last year, I mean, I need to get the fuck out of this business. But, you know, and I've talked to you about some of this stuff. You know, like I have my son a lot more often, and I want to have like a consistent thing, and I have the flexibility being a server. You know, like I work fucking Monday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday during the day. You know, like that's perfect. And then I do the Instacart. You know.
Yeah.
But it gets me by, and it's gotten, you know, my kid's 11, and he's fine. He's got a roof over his head. I have a fucking car.
That's awesome.
Like so it's more so just the fact that like if I did get a different job, it's proven that I'm making more money, they're somehow gonna rate me for even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of had to just stick with it, but fuck. I hate it. So I'm gonna be out soon.
He hates himself because he loves his son.
That's right.
That's what it is.
That's right. And not to get on my soapbox, but our buddy Drake, who also spent a lot of time in the service industry, turned me on to Viktor Frankl and the book A Man's Search for Meaning, and has had me reading this. And it's a short little cut. It's 50 pages. You can read it in an afternoon, but.
I'm glad that The Man's Search for Meaning is such a short read.
No.
I can stomach
He's
that.
got it. It's very simple. No, I think.
didn't know it was right there.
Yeah.
What have I been doing?
This whole time I'm trying to read War and Peace, trying to figure it out. No, it's just the way that you kind of presented that, where it's just it's like it's approaching a challenge, it's like rising to it and feeling like, man, I'm fighting every day and I'm making it happen. That's kind of one of the tenets, and it's like Viktor Frankl talks about being a little bit less like goal driven and being a little bit more embracing of the daily challenge of life, whatever that means for you. So I thought that's a really deep sentiment right there.
And that's a really deep thought, and I'm glad you shared that with us. And something like a philosophical thing that gets me through every single day. No matter who you are, no matter what your lifestyle's like or anything like that, one thing that I think about all the time is that no matter what, we're all going to be dead soon. Like,
nice.
I really, it's like, it really doesn't matter. You're a billionaire, you're living the high life, you're slumming it in some third world country. We're all going to be fucking dead soon.
I can't tell you how happy I am in my heart right now that A, we're friends, and B, we're doing this podcast together, because to follow up my word vomit that left me nothing but insecure, leaking confidence for these people on a recorded microphone, that's going to go online for all time.
Don't worry, nobody's going to listen to it.
Right. Thank God you're here to ground me and let me know not only will I die soon, but I'm not as great as I think I might be.
You might be, but it doesn't matter because everyone you know is going to be dead.
There it is.
Nobody's going to remember how
All
good
right.
or bad you are.
So we're gonna leave you on a positive note. Tony, this has been a fucking blast, man. I say that sincerely. This has been, I think, hands down our best cut so far.
My first snort on
the
mic.
first live mic snort, which is a big deal.
That's the only reason I came up with it. I was like, if somebody's not fucking snorting tonight, I'm fucking out.
That's right.
I mean, I was thinking a little bit differently. I'm just kidding.
Hey!
The second one.
Yes.
God damn it.
Mike, put the bag away. All right, so if you opened a bar, your own bar, what would you call it, or what would the theme be?
I don't want to open a bar. I've never thought about it because I don't want to. I want to get the fuck away from this shit. I guess the theme,
It's called We're Closed.
be like some maybe type
Eat
of,
at your fucking house, motherfucker.
some type of maybe like 90s theme, maybe some boy bands, I don't
Okay.
care. That's fine with me.
2 live crew.
I don't think that qualifies as a boy band.
Yeah. boy band?
I don't even know who that. I meant like Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
98 Degrees.
That's
Yeah.
opposite ends of the
I don't even
spectrum
know
right
what
there.
that is.
I'm
Yes,
imagining-
they're boys in a band.
I'm imagining a menu full of bad 90s boy band puns.
Ooh,
Dude,
Oh,
like,
God.
you
Come
know?
on, list one off. Show us how clever you are.
I'm trying to, for whatever, it's gonna be,
Beef. God damn it.
That was a really good one.
it's gonna be crab dip. I don't know.
Oh God.
All right.
We'll edit some in later.
Yeah, talk about going out on top here. Tony, thank you. Any last words for the people before we get the fuck out of here?
If anybody knows of anywhere hiring, like I'm able to do whatever the fuck, Well,
And he's burned all his bridges on this podcast.
sorry.
Burned every last
Sorry,
one.
All American Steakhouse and Sports Theater in Perry Hall.
Good night.
I didn't mean it. I did.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, we release new episodes on the first and third Monday of each month. A big shout out over to our friends at Trauma Parlor, whose song Fast One you heard throughout the show. Go check them out on Facebook and Spotify and show them some love.
And if you want to be one of our regulars, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BRP Drinkalong or on YouTube and Spotify at the Bartender Rant Podcast.
And if you want to be one of our VIP listeners, please subscribe to the Bartender Rant Podcast on Patreon. VIPs will always have a seat at the bar, and you'll get access to bonus content, have a chance to vote on new episodes, and receive a 10% discount on all of our merchandise.
And tell Mike if they want to be a big tipper,
AKA one of our Bozels.
feel free to make a donation on PayPal under the Bartender Rant Podcast at gmail.com. Mike and I do this because we love the service industry, and we want to bring you great content, but this is not our day job. With your help, we can keep the stories coming and interview local bartenders from coast to coast. And as always, don't just listen along.
Drink along!